The auditorium lights buzzed overhead as laughter echoed through the high school hall. In the back row sat Emily, her shoulders hunched, face red with embarrassment. A group of students had dared her to sing in the talent show not because they believed in her, but because they wanted to humiliate the poor girl from the trailer park who wore second-hand shoes and kept her head down. What they didn't know was that behind those quiet eyes lived a voice that could silence storms. But Emily never thought she'd be heard, until Mr. Carson, the school janitor and a single dad, stepped in. Mr. Carson had worked at the school for nearly a decade. Most students ignored him, just the man who swept the floors and fixed broken lights. But Emily had always been kind, greeting him with a soft smile and helping clean up when others left trash behind. One afternoon, he found her crying in the empty music room. She tried to brush it off, but he gently asked, "What happened?" Through tears, she told him about the cruel dare to sing at the assembly, how they expected her to fail and be laughed at. That's when Mr. Carson said, "Then let's surprise them." From that day on, after school, the dusty music room became their secret training ground. Mr. Carson wasn't a music teacher, but he'd played guitar in his youth and knew a thing or two about rhythm, stage presence, and, more importantly, self-belief. Emily's voice, raw and beautiful, filled the empty halls like magic. Each note she sang was laced with pain, hope, and the longing to be seen not as a joke, but as someone who mattered. At home, things weren't easier for either of them. Emily's mother worked 2 shifts and barely had time to eat, while her stepfather resented every breath she took. Mr. Carson, too, struggled to raise his teenage son, Noah, on a janitor's paycheck. But somehow, they found time for rehearsals, building a bond deeper than music, one of trust, healing, and second chances. Noah even joined in, recording Emily's practice sessions and offering encouragement, seeing something in her that reminded him of his late mom's strength. The night of the school talent show arrived, and Emily stood behind the curtain, knees trembling. Whispers from the crowd floated backstage, snickers, bets about how bad she'd be. But when the lights dimmed and the curtain lifted, a hush fell over the room. Emily stepped forward, clutching the microphone like a lifeline. And then, she sang. Her voice started soft, unsure, but within seconds, it bloomed into something no one expected. Her voice carried decades of pain and triumph, sorrow and strength. The auditorium fell silent. Phones stopped recording. Even the students who had mocked her sat frozen, eyes wide. She poured her soul into the song, her voice soaring like a phoenix from the ashes. When she finished, the room erupted, not in laughter, but in stunned applause. Teachers stood. Students cheered. Mr. Carson, watching from the side with tears in his eyes, whispered, "You did it, kid." That night, Emily didn't just win the talent show, she reclaimed her dignity, her worth, and her future. Word of her performance spread beyond the school. A video recorded by Noah went viral. Music coaches reached out. Local news wanted interviews. Suddenly, the girl who was mocked for being poor became a symbol of resilience and hidden brilliance. She was offered a scholarship to a performing arts school, something she never dreamed possible. Despite the sudden attention, Emily remained grounded. She continued visiting the music room with Mr. Carson and Noah, never forgetting who helped her believe in herself. At the school assembly months later, she dedicated her performance to the janitor who saw more in me than I saw in myself. Years later, Emily stood on a national stage, accepting her first music award. Cameras flashed, people clapped, but her eyes searched the crowd for one familiar face. And when she found Mr. Carson, older now, with pride shining in his eyes, she smiled and said into the mic, "This is for the man who taught me that you don't need riches or status to change someone's life. Just kindness, patience, and the belief that even broken voices deserve to be heard." Moral of the story. Sometimes, the greatest talent lies in the most overlooked hearts. And sometimes, it only takes one person to believe in you for your life to change forever.